Now, being in the space of executive education, we receive a lot of queries on career transitions. Pertaining to today's topic of discussion, which is product management, you may have questions like, is a product management career the right choice for me? What does product management as a career path look like? What are the essential skills that are required to get into that role? Or any specific questions that you may have on the program offered by the Institute. We are more than willing to answer all your queries. We will try to cover as many in today's session, but if you prefer a more elaborate one-on-one discussion with our faculty, please scan this QR code for a 30-minute session with our expert panel. So if you have a burning career question, guys, I'll give a moment here to scan the QR code. You can find the link in the chat window too. As a knowledge sharing initiative by the Institute, Insights 2020 series gives you a chance to interact with renowned speakers across the globe. We do these sessions 4 to 5 times a week from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can see our upcoming speakers on the screen. We have lined up a bunch of wonderful speakers for you to share their great insights and experience. We highly recommend that you register for these sessions. These sessions are absolutely free. Do not miss out on these webinars, folks. They are a great way to learn about the latest trends in product management and design and real-time changes in the industry. You can find the registration link in the chat box. Now, without further ado, allow me to welcome our very distinguished eminent speaker of tonight, Professor Sai Satish Vedam. Professor Vedam is a senior faculty and executive coach at the Institute of Product Leadership. He was most recently the Director of Product Management at Oracle. A very warm welcome to you, Professor Vedam. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here with us tonight. Kindly take the session forward.
Thank you, Shama. Good evening, all of you. I would love to be on video, so if you guys can allow me to join the video, that'll be great.
Just a moment.
Sure. Well, it is actually exciting to see at this time of the hour, so many folks interested in joining and understanding what product management careers mean, and how can one embark on that, or any questions on that. So happy to answer. Again, thank you for inviting me. So folks, don't be shy. Feel free to ask a question in the chat box, or even raise your hand so that you can be unmuted. And I prefer somebody coming up and asking a question directly, so that will be great. But happy to answer any questions that you may have. Right? Just a little quick background while you collect your thoughts and asking your question. Until recently, as Shama introduced, I've managed more than 7 products globally for global customers. And it's a roller coaster ride, to say the least. It's fun, exhilarating, gratifying, and also sometimes frustrating, because the role is such that you play an orchestrator role, right? And there are a lot of things that can go wrong, and a lot of amazing decisions that you will make, which impact. And in fact, my career path is, I've been an engineer, an architect in Sun Microsystems. Most of you might recognize that company, which built Java and 200 other products that are right now embedded in many of the devices that we use, and then started managing the products globally. But more importantly, I am an executive coach and also visiting faculty at IPL. I love it because I get to interact with some amazing people and learn a lot of things. So, happy to answer any questions or have a discussion around the topics that you may have. So let's go.
Audience, please go ahead and ask your questions. You can raise your hand and I shall unmute you for asking your questions. So we have a question from Yashraj. I'm going to unmute him.
Yes.
Yashraj, please go ahead and ask your question.
So thank you so much for taking out your time, sir. So sir, my question goes along these lines, that I'm already I'm presently a manager right now, and I'm a program manager, to be specific. And I kind of coordinate with the growth team and the product team. I mean, whatever needs to go into the product from a growth outlook, all right? Something, which might bring in more user into the platform to try out the product.
That's right.
So my concern, or let's say query, is that I do not have a master's degree, all right? I mean, having a degree from a great college is a very Asian thing. And since I'm not looking beyond Indian borders as of now.
Yeah.
So let's say if I want to transition into product,
Yeah.
specifically, and not specifically tech product management,
Hmm.
though I'm from an engineering background, but I like to, keep an intersection between what complexity will go behind what the user might need. So I'm more of a people person that way. All right. And I kind of have a product sense that, hey, this shouldn't go here and this should go here, which has kind of, worked out in bringing in more revenue for the company I'm working in right now. So before even I joined the company, I had an experience in building an MVP, but it was not lovable. It was just viable, ironically. So I just want to understand that. Can you just see the jump which I'm trying to make, or the transition which I'm trying to make right now? So if you can see that, I just want to know what catalyst would be perfect over here. Will it be resources, study materials, books? I read a lot of books on design. Let's say right now I'm reading this book on the design of everyday things by Don Norman.
Don Norman, yeah.
Yeah. Apart from these things, I kind of find it very fascinating reading about products, how some feature increases the psych level of the user, while some might kind of just piss them off.
Yeah.
So how do I go about from this point onwards in terms of a catalyst specifically? Will it just be books, or should I be going for anything else as well?
Great question. I think there are several questions in that, and I'll see if I can remember and answer. If not, you can remind me. Now, the first thing is about a master's degree, right? Now, having a master's degree is certainly useful, but not a sufficient condition to be an effective product manager or even to get into that role, right? Often, in our system of evaluating candidates, because the Indian technology industry has evolved from, the focus has always been for a long time on execution and delivery. We wanted people who would execute and deliver, right? And hence our hiring practices and processes were designed with a certain benchmarks and baselines in mind, right? So the basic way to filter it out is engineering, right? So for example, if you want to join a product company, now that's a baseline. Now that doesn't mean that all engineers are good or all non-engineers are not good, right? So, but unfortunately, we have established that baseline as an industry, whether we like it or not. And there are several reasons why that's not a good thing. At the same time, next stage when you're talking about management, now whether it is managing people, managing projects, or managing products, and all three are different, and all three requires a different mindsets and different skill sets to it. There again, we seem to have established certain baselines saying that if you have a management degree, if you have an MBA degree, then you might be good at people managing or project managing, right? So these are all constraints, or rather constructs, that we have created. And when I see around me some fantastic product managers, so it's amazing people. And in my own case, by the way, I'm not a master's. I don't have a master's degree, neither in management nor in engineering. But then what is required, there are some schools, there are some institutes where if you do a post-graduation or master's, the entry level is easier. The entry is easier into companies, but that is not a guarantee for everyone. So in my view, master's is a nice to have. If you want to study, but don't expect that your career will change or rather catapult you into something that you want, right? Now, irrespective of that, independent of the master's or not, you talked about catalyst, right? And before I get to the catalyst, let's talk a little bit about your role, as we call as program management, right? Now, this is a pretty important and also common role in Indian companies. We have engineers, and you have engineering managers, and you have project managers. And in project managers, the focus has always been resources, managing projects under budget, in quality, on time, and within the resources, right? So that's essentially the focus. That's again a delivery focused thing. But program management is initiatives, as you said, in growth initiative, right? So whether you look at during acquisition time or retention or referral stages of the product where you want to keep coming, keep retaining the people or getting more people. So program managers have different focus on different initiatives. Now, it is also a very interesting role that you sit in the center of the coordination part of it, right? But often you don't you are not part of a decision-making group or a team in the context of products, right? When I say that, you are the decision-making role when it comes to, how do we make this on time, or what can we, not do in consultation with the product team or not. But essentially the product role or product management role is about customer facing and business decision making role, right? And what that means is understanding your customer, understanding the problems and the needs that they have, and what is a better way to solve those needs than their current alternatives, right? So that's one aspect of it. Of course, in India, many companies, the product manager role is typically centered around this aspect, right? Which is, let's understand the needs or the pain points, the problems, translate them into some kind of a detailed requirements. And I hate the word requirements, but I better prefer user stories or definition, right? So that way, the teams that are expert in building and solving, they are the one that are actually going to come up with the solution. And now you define the parameters of the solution and make sure that it works and meets the customer needs. But there is a whole chunk of product management that very few companies and very few people get to work on. It's very crucial. And every true product manager should aspire to get to that, is outbound, right? Which means now that you've created the product value, how am I going to communicate this to the market? Now, there are dedicated teams like product marketing teams, but there's a very close interlock between product management and that. Now, looking at all these things, the typical catalyst, Yash Raj, and I'm not just trying to answer your question, but hopefully answer questions that are on people's mind that they may not be asking right now, right? The catalyst, I would say, is, today we live in an amazing times, right? Notwithstanding the COVID pandemic that we are going through. But otherwise, this is an amazing time because the cost of acquiring information is almost zero, right? You can sit in the comfort of your house, go to a YouTube channel, go to a Udemy, go to Coursera, or find Medium blogs or books or whatever, and read on that particular aspect, gain some knowledge. But the mistake that most of us do is we think we know that skill, right? Because that is not skill. That is just, so the way I would like to slice the understanding of any particular area is 4 levels. One, we call it as awareness, right? Awareness means you understand, you know the concepts. And so that you can have a nice beer conversation with your friends, throw the buzzwords around and say, hey, I know this recurrent neural networks algorithm in machine learning, right? So that's not very useful because you only know the buzzwords. The next level of understanding is what we call as literacy. Literacy is now you know enough to even have meaningful conversation with somebody who knows that subject well. And the third one is very important, which we call as the skill part of it. Now, skill means it is not about knowing stuff. It is being able to apply that stuff in the context of any product or a project or an idea, right? Unless you are able to apply that, you can't basically claim that you know that area. So the catalyst here, Yash Raj, is skilling, skill sets, right? And there are certain core skill sets that one needs to acquire to be able to effectively function in that product role, right? I hope I answered most of your questions.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for making it so exhaustive. Sure. You mostly covered all of my queries. So just the last bit on skilling. Yeah. So I just wanted to ask that, a lot of product managers, and I'm not talking about tech product managers who actually, kind of write the code behind it. The product managers who kind of envision the product. So do they use wireframes or let's say, any high fidelity design tool
They do.
Which
They do
kind of?
actually. Yes, absolutely. So
Yeah,
here's
if
the
you
thing.
can name a few which I can start with.
I will, and I've used some myself. My team has used many. I'm a pretty hands-on guy. Now, the trap that we fall into, the hands-on guys, especially somebody who comes from engineering background and design background, is that we think we can solve the problem better than the teams that we are working with. It's a bad idea to think that way. I've learned it myself. Because then what happens is you may be still able to solve it better, but that's not your job. That's not your role, right? You need to step back and ask fundamental questions around the decisions around product. What is my roadmap look like? Why is the roadmap looking like this? Why are we prioritizing these things over the others? Those are the important decisions, and leave it to the experts or the engineers to do that, right? Now, I was so tempted many times to actually go and program and fix some bugs here and there, but actually a bad idea, right? Now, coming to design, these days, it's absolutely critical for every product manager to have working knowledge in design. Now, I'm not saying you should be expert and you should sit down and fight with the designer saying that, why is it like this and all? But working knowledge means that if somebody tells you, the designer comes and says, this is violating the Gestalt's 5 principles. Now, you should not blink. You should know what that means and have that conversation to say, oh, in visual design, there are these 5 principles that go against each other, right? So now, as product managers, I know many people who use design tools for different stages of design. So I love Sketch. By the way, I'm a big Sketch fan, to even create the initial wireframes. Some people swear by Figma. And Figma is doing very well right now, by the way. And what I used to do, and my team basically was, we actually used to import design systems into Sketch, right? So each company has design systems, or you use popular open systems like Material Design and whatnot. And once you sketch that out, there are now tools like InVision prototypes, right? So you export it and InVision imports it. Then you do a click-through prototype, you share it with your team, you go through that, annotate and comment and all of that stuff. So my favorites are these 3, Sketch, Figma, and InVision. Hopefully, yeah?
Yeah. Thank you so much. So how important is it for someone to even have a profile on Behance and have a few work out there for, for a product manager, to be specific?
So I'm very glad you asked this question, and it's not for you alone. I think everybody here, I want to share some of my learnings and what I've gathered over a period of time, right? So all of you think about this. Today, the dominant way for many of us to get career transitions or next job, right? I want to move to the next job. The strategy has been the same for many years, and we continue to employ the same, which is, let me spend enormous amount of time decorating my resume, right? Because we believe that is one of the most important tool for somebody to look at you and say, okay, here are the pages and pages of resume, so many projects, so many companies, let's talk to this person, right? That is no longer the case. And I'm sure many of you have experienced this, which is, let's say LinkedIn posted an awesome job that you are interested in. And within 4 hours, there are 250 people who have applied to it. Why? Because LinkedIn and other job portals have made it so easy for people to just go and apply, right? One click apply. Now, imagine on the other side, it is humanly impossible for anybody to actually screen through those resumes. So hence what they do is they put filters. They put keyword filters saying that, does this person know market analysis? Does this person know high fidelity prototyping through whatever it is, right? Or whatever keywords that you think. Now, because they are using filters, it's a chicken and egg situation. Now, people who are decorating the resume says, what is the harm in putting the keywords? At least I will get through the initial thing and then we'll figure it out, right? So by doing this, most of us are not even getting a thank you email for applying, right? And as a result, many of us are concluding that maybe my resume is not good enough. Maybe I am not right enough for this. And that is unfortunate because that's not true. So my recommendation is to flip that strategy, which means don't bet your career transitions on resume, but build a demonstrable portfolio. Now,
portfolio, correct.
While Yashraj, you are asking in the context of Behance and where it is mostly predominantly design portfolios, I am talking a step ahead, which is product portfolios, right? Now, product portfolios, is very similar to design, but the focus is on product skills. So one simple example is market sizing is a very important skill for product managers. Often people throw this term called market analysis. Market analysis often these days means that Googling and finding out some nuggets from some analyst report, from blog or whatever. That is research, market research. Market sizing is a skill where you quantify the opportunity. And that skill needs to be learned and practiced and applied. So if you know that skill, there is nothing stopping you from picking up a product from, let's say today, Uber is delivering groceries, Uber is delivering people. Now, what if Uber wants to deliver petrol to homes? I mean, hypothetically, right? Now, how do we quantify that market opportunity for Uber? Now, that's a skill. So once you know how to apply this, that becomes a portfolio under market analysis. You can publish it in Medium, you can create a YouTube video, you can put it on, give a talk around it. So this is how you should start looking at building that portfolio. Not bet your career completely on resume. I'm not saying resumes are dead completely yet, right? But many hiring managers, and I've been one hiring manager for a long time. I've hired more than 50 products people. And I know a lot of people who are now saying that what is a better way to hire product roles? Because product roles are very strategic, right? So let's not leave that to chance to some resume which may have been gamed, is the current thinking. So yes, product portfolios are absolutely crucial, and go beyond design portfolio and start thinking in terms of product portfolio, right? And I've taken this opportunity to take a elaborate view of it so that hopefully others can relate to that.
Thank you so
we
much.
have a few questions lined up in the Q&A section.
Yeah.
If you could take them.
Do you want me to read or?
I'll read it out, so no problem.
Sure.
So we have a question from Atish saying that, sir, I have 15 years experience, most of it in traditional engineering project management. Heard about project management in January 2020, but I'm not sure how the course could help me change the field completely. But in other way, can I directly transition from project management to product management?
Okay, so I think you may be having some misconceptions, Atish, but let me get to that later. Now, first thing I'll tell you, based on a lot of product managers that I work with, and I've worked in my team and even now coach a lot of them, there are two functional roles from which we see majority of the people transitioning into product management. One is from engineering. A lot of people with technical background, engineering background, who have been building and developing products are now looking at saying, I want to ask this fundamental question. Why are we building what we are building? What is it all towards? What market problems are we trying to solve? How do we even know whether we should solve this problem or not, right? So that's a natural progression for many people. The second most dominant functional role is project management. Because as project managers, you have been in the coordination role around execution for a long time, which means you understand the dependencies, and the role that is played by cross-functional teams to get a project done, right? Similar way, a product manager role essentially is a cross-functional role, meaning you will need to work with the engineering team, the development team, the design team, the marketing team, the sales team to enable them to create that value, right? While you are focusing on understanding the value that you want to create and working with product marketing on one side to communicate that value, the development or engineering teams are focused on creating that value. And there is a very and hence this role, think of this role as an orchestrator. I'm sure you've seen the music orchestras, right? Where there's a person with two sticks, especially Western classical orchestra, right? That is a product manager role. The people who are playing the piano are playing it. The people who are playing the violin are playing it. All of them are doing their own individual job. But somebody who brings all of this together and creates that awesome experience is a product manager. So from project management to product management, it is, one of the, in fact, three functional roles, right? Engineering, business analysts, and project managers, seamless transition into product management. Now, when I'm referring to product management, it is very important that I'm being clear here, right? I'm not referring to title, right? In our country, we have lots of weird titles for lots of jobs. Product manager as a title is there, product manager as a role is there. Now, as a role is what I'm focusing on, especially if you are 10 plus years or 15 years experience, right? Don't aspire to become a product manager in title, but you should aspire to become a product manager in your role, which means working with cross-functional teams in the context of product and making sure that the product is successful in the market. And there are different stages where you work through that. And for all of that, the biggest, I keep joking about this to several people that I coach. The biggest challenge that we all have is not learning new skills. It is the unlearning part, right? Because we've conditioned ourselves so much that we want to, if you want to learn a new skill, we are skeptical. I don't know if this is right for me. I don't know if this is true, right? Now, we don't know what we don't know, but most important thing is the steps that you have to take to unlearn and then be open to learning is very important. So absolutely possible, Atish, and hundreds of people that I know have done that transition. But most importantly, you need to focus on acquiring those skills and demonstrating those skills. And that is the only way that I see these transitions can happen. Okay, hopefully I answered that, Atish.
Atish he wants to say something.
Yeah, please.
Go ahead, Atish.
Good evening, sir. Very well answered the questions and the queries which I had.
Sure.
Because yeah, I have been in touch since January and looking forward to going ahead for the course, but was not very sure of how actually will it be possible for me to transition. So very well worded by you.
Sure.
And just one more step ahead. See, there are 3 courses we are talking about. So which one do you think should be the best one for me right now?
So which courses are you referring to? Can you remind me those?
There is one 6-month course.
Yeah.
I forgot the short forms of them.
There is I believe there is an ICPM Flex course, right? Which is an international certification in product management and product marketing, which is a self-paced faculty-led course, right? Which is, you can take this course from anywhere at any time, and it's self-paced and you join faculty-led sessions. So the program is designed for 5 months, which means if you're able to put in that required effort and continue through the program, you can finish this in 5 months, or you have up to 10 or 11 months to do it because it's self-paced. Then there is an executive MBA program, which is a comprehensive product leadership program, which is a campus-based program. So this is a UGC approved program. The only one of a kind in this country in products, and that degree is recognized and approved by UGC. You can do PhD after that if you want, but it is a campus-based program and it runs in Bangalore in CMR campus and in Pune as well. But you may be referring to the ICPM Flex program. So that program, let me focus a little bit on that. As I said, is includes 5 curated skills. Curated and core skills that are relevant and contemporary for somebody to have a working knowledge of product management. Now, if you're looking for a career transition, you need to look beyond the learning part of it, the skill part of it, right? And there are several other parts that are included as part of this program, which will help you make that transition. But if you're focusing on acquiring those skills so that you can become a better product leader in the company, which is the role of a product manager that I explained, it has about 5 core skills. I think it includes, starts with product management fundamentals, including value proposition design, which is understanding who your customers are, how do you group them, how do you profile them, what problems and needs do they have, and then defining and designing a value proposition. Then you move to a very important skill today, which is user experience and UI design, right? I just spoke before about that. Then about agile product management. Now, sometimes in engineering roles, in project management roles, often we are not clear on why something is prioritized over the other. what went into that magic, right? What went into that? And without knowing, there is a lot of friction that happens. So agile product management is all about how do you prioritize things? What do you consider? What factors come in? How do you define a roadmap? How do you define back? All of these things are agile product management. And using data in all these things is very important. Data informed decisions, right? And then the fourth course, I believe, is the product marketing and digital marketing. Today, any product person should absolutely understand how the product should be positioned to that specific set of customers. All right. Otherwise, you will be barking at the wrong tree is the phrase that we use, right? You may have built an awesome product, but you're talking to a wrong customers, right? So that's a very critical skill to have. And finally, all of us are surrounded by lots of digital products, right? On our mobile phones, on our desktops, on our watches, embedded devices. These are all digital products. They are collecting lots of data. Now, how do you think about it? And these have slightly different ways of thinking about product skills. So there is one particular area in that about digital and SaaS product management. So hopefully, you got a picture of what this program is and how it is structured. But it's a pretty rigorous program. You join weekly live sessions by faculty, and you can have interactive sessions along with a lot of digital learning projects, and the focus is on helping you build that portfolio, right? So we talked about demonstrable portfolios to do that, and these are the programs that will help you do that. Couple of other important points, by the way. All the faculty, actually not most, all the faculty in this program are industry practitioners, right? And that's a very important part, because at this stage of our experience, we want somebody who does this as part of their job, as part of their daily life, and come back and share that experience and expertise with you and tell you what not to do. A lot of people can easily tell you what to do, but only few people can tell you what not to do, right? And that's very important aspect of it. And the final one in this program, and by the way, this is true for any program in IPL, be it an executive MBA, be it the user experience program, UX Flex program that is there. There is a platform called Career Club, right? Career Club is place where hiring managers in the industry, who are the people who are hiring in product roles, come to IPL to hire from the product talent, right? All the participants that are going through program. And there is a very important reason for it. They believe, and most of these people believe in that same philosophy that I outlined, that products are strategic roles. We want to evaluate these candidates based on the skills, demonstration of skills, not just resume. And hence they come, they give a product challenge, they give a couple of days time, and then people come back and present to them, and then job offers get made, right? So that's how it happens. And it's part of for every participant of the program. So this is included as part of the program. Yeah. So hopefully that gave you again a long-winded answer, but the way I'm trying to be efficient in this time is taking the opportunity of your question and giving you a lot more information.
That's great, Professor. We have Shubhendu for the next question. Please go ahead and ask your question, Shubhendu.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening.
Thank you for the previous answers. Very informative.
Sure.
Let me start this with a very brief background. I'm currently working as a project manager. I have 10 years of experience. Supposedly expected to do a technical product development and looking for a transition. The challenge which I'm facing is I have good understanding in terms of data analytics and business analytics and data understanding, or at least data literacy and data skills I have, but not from a typical IT background.
Okay.
And the products which I'm mostly working on and expected to work are typical web and IT products. So is there a way out that how can I can upskill myself and do this transition successfully? And specifically, I want to know that since I'm not from IT background, I have to manage those backlogs, prioritize those things.
Yeah.
So how feasible it is for me to do this transition?
Great question. So I think, let me upfront talk about the myth that you seem to have. Prioritization is a fact of life, Shubhendu. Whether you're an IT or non-IT, every person has limited resources. Every team, every company has limited resources, right? So whether you make fire extinguishers or whether you make an IT product, a mobile app, the prioritization backlog is just a terminology that has become popular in IT, but backlog is nothing but, you know, your backlog, your list of things that you needed to do, and a prioritization happens. Now, there is something that you have, Shubhendu, that a lot of people are dying to have right now, which is the data skills and probably even statistics skills, right? Business intelligence skills. And that is a fantastic additional skill to have if you are in the business of products and if you want to be in a role where you want to make decisions around products. As I said, today products, whether it is web product, IT product, mobile product, every person, every team, every product is instrumenting those to collect enormous amount of data, either the usage data, distribution data, or any other data that you may want to do, and make data informed decisions, right? Should we build this? Should we not do that? And by the way, shall we experiment with this? Let's see what the data tells us, right? So that's an important aspect of it. And, you know, it will be, in my view, a very important addition for you along with the product skills. So if you focus on gaining those product skills, I think the opportunities are immense, Shubhendu, in that area.
Sir, I would like to add to this.
Yeah.
Thank you for the kind words. I mean, data science is one layer. Let's take the example of product which we are building. That is one layer. And I'm completely comfortable interacting with data scientists and senior data scientists who are basically reporting to me. But when it comes to developers, front end, back end, front end, back end, and database management and the integration and all, that is where I feel challenge. So that area I want to understand that where, I mean, and I mean, I have an engineering degree, but that's like some time now. And that's totally non-IT. So how can I have that? Because the learning curve in technology is steep, and I'm now at this point I cannot start understanding MongoDB and front end, back end, and all that. But I somehow feel that in order to have a granular understanding, I need this. So just guide me. Is there a way to
yes, there is. And I think the underlying question is something that many people have. Should I be technical person to be a product manager, right? And my answer to that is multifold. One is, if you are building products using technology, you need to have some level of understanding of technology. You don't need to be core engineer or developer or anything. Now, when I say some level, and I use this phrase called working understanding, working knowledge. Why? Because your job is not to build solution. Your job will be to ask the right set of questions so that you get that answers to make a decision. So if you are not equipped to ask the right set of questions, so for example, MongoDB, as you said, now you don't need to know how MongoDB is different than NoSQL or this SQL or, you know, whatever SQL that is, right? Or even traditional keyword based things or not the new ones. But instead, the questions that you would ask is, what advantage does MongoDB gets us over that? How is that well suited for the problem that we are solving? Now, these are the questions that you even need to know to ask. So to that extent, you certainly need to understand some technology. Now, I don't agree and believe that you have to be hands-on. Although many, by virtue of people moving into product management from technology, they already have those skills. And hence we make the association that to be a product manager in a technology product, you have to be technical. And I'll tell you, in my own experience, several years ago, I hired, and we are a very hardcore technical team. In my team, I hired a pianist as a product manager. And why? Because, we were a telco, we were building solutions for telecom. I had 4 product managers and I'm hiring for the 5th one. The 4 are already experts in telecom. Now, what do I do with the 5th expert in telecom or even, engineering? What I want is a different perspective. I want a customer focusing and somebody who can think like a customer and be empathetic to that customer. So there are different skills that we look at while hiring. And I don't believe that you have to be a technical person to become into product role, but you should have a good understanding of technology to work in technology products. So, yeah.
That largely answers my question, sir. But
Subhendu, I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
So we'll come back to you, Subhendu,
yes,
when the time allows.
If you could hang on till the end of the session, we
Yeah.
could take your question.
Yeah.
Moving on, Suchitra, please ask your question.
Hi, I'm hoping you can hear me.
Yes.
So this is Suchitra here, and I have 3.5 years of experience as a product engineer. And I work day in and day out with product managers and a lot of cross-functional teams to deliver products. And I can actually say I'm like an associate product manager by virtue of my number of years of experience.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in a lot of companies, and even people who join IPL, people are there with over 10 years of experience and aspiring for product management roles. And thinking of executive MBA from IPL, I'm wondering how helpful will it be, and would it help me transition to product management, or is this specifically suited to people who have higher number of years of experience?
Right. So if you're specifically talking about executive MBA, that is an EMBA in product leadership, right? And which means that along with the core product skills, see, if you were to ask me, there are about 21 core product skills, right? Now, all of them don't get the opportunity to work in all those areas, and all of them shouldn't, by the way, right? Only, even especially in India, when product managers who manage portfolios and investment initiatives get exposure to those things like mergers and acquisitions, strategy, and consulting, and business finance and operations and all of that, right? Product in the context of products. But along in the executive MBA program, along with these skills, there are leadership skills that focuses on, because the role is so strategic. The kind of leadership skills that are required are very important, and leadership is a very broad area. So areas like influencing without authority, right? Negotiation and conflict management, executive presence. So these are all the ones that get covered in the comprehensive executive MBA. Now, the average work experience in that program is about 13 years, right? And not all of them are there to become product managers, because at a certain point that doesn't make sense. Many of them are looking to get a very good understanding of what goes on in a business, a 360-degree view, and have a hands-on working knowledge of those skills. So yes, the cohort average experience is about 13 to, there are people who join from 7 years to 20 plus years, right? And it's a very rich cohort because people come from diverse backgrounds, diverse set of experiences, and the learning happens in a shared environment, in peer-to-peer interactions. So now, if you're not intimidated by that, and if you're not feeling that, will I fit in, there is no reason why not to consider it. But my recommendation would be, Suchitra, I suppose I'm saying your name right?
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, is that you look at, as you said, you're in APM, and it's a very interesting title that we started giving in India, especially for engineers who want to get into product roles, right? APM. And companies that I've interacted with, especially I think Rakuten and many companies, have created this amazing opportunity for people to get into that. My recommendation would be that you gain the core set of skills that you can be more effective as an inbound product manager first, because that's the entry level, right? And then once you look at that, and for that, ICPM Flex program is well designed for it, right? Perfectly designed to get you those skills, to get you that portfolio, to get you that confidence to be effective in that role. I'm not saying don't look at executive MBA, but sometimes what happens is, we have this 15 years, 20 years people, talking about something and you might get lost about it. And you might feel that, did I make a right choice, right? So be careful about making such things. But this is a very impactful program and designed for product leadership, moving into leadership roles. So my suggestion to you would be to look at the ICPM Flex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you, Suchitra, for participating. So we have a next question from Afnan.
Yeah.
There are actually two questions, but we'll take this one first. What is the value of certifications like CSPO, CPM, etc.? Is it valued in India and globally?
Yeah. So Afnan, I'll give you my personal view, and I don't know if IPL will like this or not, but 3-letter words, 4-letter words are not very impactful or meaningful, right? I mean, at some point in time in our careers, they used to signify importance. Now, I'm not saying don't do that, right? Don't do any certification. Certifications are great. The way I look at it, certification is like an insurance policy, right? It's good to have one. It's important to have one, but don't bet your careers will transform because of that, right? So focus on those skills. Now, CSPO, definitely, especially from Scrum Alliance or some reputed alliance that have been focusing on enabling these skills to people is valuable. It is instantly recognizable. So there is a sense of assurance. But I know a lot of CSPO people who really don't know how to do prioritization. As a product owner, you are defining requirements that are given to you by product manager or account teams or whatever, and making sure that you have that outcomes clearly outlined so that the engineering teams or the development teams can do, but not very effective. Just because you have a certificate doesn't mean that you're automatically that. But India, for a lot of reasons, do attribute some values for this certification. And I don't know about CSPO, how valuable it is in the industry. I have never hired anybody based on certificates or even degree, by the way. I always believe in evaluating somebody based on those skills, no matter what their education background is, right? And that's and it's not just me. I think many industry folks are moving to that, especially in product roles. So if you have the appetite, if you have the interest, go do those certifications. But focus on the skills, focus on building that portfolio, and that is what will get you the transition.
Our next question is from Shashi. Shashi, please go ahead and ask a question.
All right. Thanks, Satish, for all the good insights that you have provided so far. One question from me is, I have seen a lot of my product management colleagues who are based out of India, who struggle to get a good insight on the enterprise use cases, especially because most of these organizations are based out of either Americas or Europe, and the organization does not really sponsor travel to the customer's place, especially if it's an international travel.
Yeah.
And typically those counterparts who are based out of Europe or Americas gain a better opportunity to interact directly with the customers and gain these insights.
Yes.
And that I've seen that does demotivate my colleagues over here, and also does not give them enough learning opportunity, and that also puts their kind of career path at risk.
Yeah.
Do you think for someone who is not willing to really travel outside India and is working based out of India, will then a product manager career path be something to consider if they are looking for a long-term career?
Sure. So Shashi, I'm assuming you're asking this on behalf of your colleagues, not you, because you referred to them multiple times. But I will answer that question because I've gone through that stage myself, right? More than 10 years ago, when I first had the opportunity to actually lead a product, interestingly enough, and of course, it was not easy. I had to convince my leadership team, which is all in the US. And then, of course, they tested me in a variety of ways and finally said, okay, here is a product that we want you to start managing it. Now, what was interesting about that is among the 20 customers that were there for that product, all the 20 are in US, and the biggest customer is Apple, right? And I'm sitting here in Bangalore. And the travel restrictions, although now it is absolutely no, travel restrictions always were there, even in big companies. You'll be lucky enough to go once in a quarter or once in a year, in fact, and be able to meet those customers. But what I learned quickly, and I'm a big company guy, all and all, right? I've never worked in consumer companies or B2C companies. I've always worked in this really big companies, building products for companies, for enterprises. So along the way, I've learned several tips and techniques that to make this very effective. Now, yes, there is no substitute for actually meeting a customer, getting some time with them, face to face in the same room and discussing them, right? Now, but that's not practical and possible for many products actually. So hence, what is the next options that you look at? All you want to do in these things is to be able to not sell your product, not position your product, not brag about your product, not tell them how awesome your product is, but more importantly, try and understand what are they trying to get things done? What are they trying to do in the context? And as a result, why are there issues coming up? And are these because of their workflows? Are these because of the current products that they're using? Are these because of your products? Or is it just because that they are set up like that, right? And to find that out, there are many forums, right? And believe me, if I say this, people will, it sounds too unbelievable that I had a call every week with Apple for 6 years. 6 years. Now, I know the people's spouses' names, their dogs' names, and pretty much everything, right? So, and sitting here. Now, that is how it will be even in the near future, right? Most of us will interact with even local customers over virtual setups. But there are far more interesting ways to look at it. There are forums where you should plug yourself into as a product manager, where you get a first-hand interaction with customer. Now, every big company has a customer support team. Often product managers ignore this completely and think that they will handle the issues when it comes to them. But my suggestion is be proactive, go front and make friends with your customer support team and say, next time this customer calls for an issue, pull me into a call. Because you don't want to solve that problem, but you want to understand that problem. And if enough number of product managers do this, by the way, Shashi, there is no need to travel. In my experience, so many years, I've spent 14 years in product management, and all in B2B, all in very big companies in the world. It is a blessing, it is an advantage if you can go, but that should not become and will not become if you do this properly. So there are tips and techniques one should go through them, of course.
Thanks, Satish. Yeah, I do agree on most of the points that you have mentioned, that we should knock at all the opportunities possible.
Well, I can list about half a dozen, but just in the interest of time.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. But on the other hand, it certainly takes a way more additional effort.
It does.
Maybe sitting remotely.
It does.
And we should be willing.
No doubt about it. And in my view, that sometimes that is frustrating. But a lot of times it is so gratifying, right? Because you're now understanding something that you may not even ever anticipate in local customers. So there's a lot of learning that happens.
Agreed. Yeah. Thanks, Satish. And I'm hoping that the courses would also offer such knowledge in terms of tools and techniques to be able to explore.
That's a very good point. I think one important to bring out at this stage is, along with the various things that I talked about the ICPM Flex program, right? The skills, the practitioner faculty, the career club, the network, IPL participants, about 2,000 plus people who have gone through these programs are a strong alumni, support each other, senior leaders already in products and all of that. A very important component as this is unlimited one-on-one coaching from practitioner faculty. And this is invaluable at a certain stage. Mentoring and coaching shapes our careers and lives. So for every participant gets access to, mentoring and coaching from faculty. That's another point. Yeah.
Thank you.
So in view of time constraints, how about we take this one last question?
Sure.
This is from Neha. I have worked as an UX designer since the past 5 years. I have been toying with the idea of product manager role because I feel it will give me more control over a product. What skills do I need to build to progress towards product management?
Oh, great question. Again, these days I've seen a lot of interest from designers. And I'll also tell you, I mean, my interpretation of why that may be, because I worked for many years with some awesome designers, right? And there is always this tension between the designer and the product manager, right? And it ought to be a healthy tension, but sometimes it spills over and it becomes an ego issue. But what typically happens is, designers come up with a certain way of envisioning this interface or use, how the product should be used and look like. And the product manager takes a position saying that I am the ambassador of the customer here. I don't agree with you. I don't believe with you. So there's always this conflict. So hence, and that's why my, advice to product managers is to learn design, and vice versa. If you're a designer and want to get into that role where you want to make some critical decisions, you absolutely need to get those product skills. And when I say product skills, they are not technical skills, right? There are, as I said, the fundamental skills about, and as a designer, you already take the perspective of your user, right? You want to basically solve the user's problems by understanding, by inciting, by discovery, and all of those techniques that you've learned. But now there is a whole bunch of people that you haven't cared about in design, but now you have to care about in products, which is your buyers, influencers, thought leaders, economic buyers, people who write checks. They all need the product value proposition. They are all buying your product for different reasons, and they all need to see value in that product. So hence, understanding that holistic view requires, again, learning skills and applying them. So, absolutely a fantastic way to segue from design into products role. Yeah, hopefully that helps you, answer to
Neha,
that question.
right.
Neha,
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Professor Vedam. And thank you, audience, for participating. It was a great session indeed.
I know. I'm sorry we could not get to many questions that were asked in Q&A. I'm just scrolling through
right.
and see that. But I think, as Shama was saying, you definitely have an opportunity. You can set up a meeting using that QR code that was shown, and definitely you can get your questions answered. All right. So
absolutely, sir. So product management is not a subject that you can get answers to within an hour, and hence we have made various platforms available
that is true.
to address your queries.
Yeah.
So folks, reach out to us on our website for detailed information on the ICPM Flex program, or book a 30-minute session with our faculty. You can also email us at engage@ipl.edu.in. Thank you so much, Professor Vedam, for taking the time off of your busy schedule to share your valuable insights. It was a pleasure having you here.
And thank you all. I know it's quite late, and it's really heartening to see so many of you hanging around till the end of the session. Hopefully you had some key takeaways from this. And one last piece of advice to all of you: if there was a better time to invest in ourselves in upskilling and reskilling, this is it. Be ready for what may come and grab it. Right? Good night.